Guys, I'm going to do a little tutorial here and kind of go over some defensive, say a scheme, and I will kind of go over a scheme, kind of show you some of the plays and formations that I use. But really, the biggest thing with defense that a lot of people don't realize is that it's much less about play calling, like obviously the coverages you call and everything are important, and the fronts and everything. I'll get into that, but really, the biggest thing that separates people is situational defense and things that you do before the ball's even snapped that will improve your playing. So I'm just going to kind of go over that right now, and kind of, like I said, I'll show you some things here. Most of the stuff is not, I wouldn't say mine per se, but I'll let you know of a couple of other people to look out for, and everything. I'll actually link some, because I'll probably forget some people's names, but I'll try to link in the description some tutorials and stuff that I think can be added to this. But we're going to go over the 4-2-5 defense. And so this is what a lot of teams that you probably play online with or whatever run, and it's a pretty big staple in the world of college football. So I'll start with that. I also do a 3-3-5 defense that I use a lot, and I can make a video on that later on as well. But 4-2-5, the biggest thing first that we want to do, we want to go into our coaching settings. Now, you want to leave auto flip on. There's not really, because there's some blitzes and stuff that the auto flip turning off is used. I use that in my 3-3-5 a lot, but with 4-2-5, I can't really think of anything that I use that for, so that always remains on. Keep cornerbacks at balanced. Sometimes I'll change this to by speed only in man-to-man, because if you do it when you're doing zones, it messes up your zones. So only in man-to-man would I ever change that. So I'll come in if I'm going to run a man-to-man, sometimes depending on who I'm going up against, and change that. But these are the most important things, though. So option read key is always going to be on conservative. That way it focuses on the QB, and it's always going to be basically a give for the quarterback. So on read options and stuff, which is good for us, because we want, ultimately what would be better is if we hand off to the running back. The only thing that this would change is if they run like a QB power or veer. In that case, they would be playing the running back. So it's just swap there. But anyways, and then we have pitch key. I put that on aggressive. Now, honestly, I wish this worked better than it does. It's supposed to focus more on the pitch to have the QB keep, but sometimes the 8-eye defenders, for whatever reason, still play the QB. I don't know, but it does help a little bit. So we have that on. I like putting the RPO read key. Some people say keep this on balanced. I put it on conservative. And so, because that's going to play the pass more. Because I would much rather them run the ball. Obviously, it doesn't mean that you're going to cover every pass or whatever goes into coverage and everything, but at least put your defenders in position to play the pass so that they don't get way out of position, turn what should be a 5-6 yard gain into maybe a 10, 15, 20 yard gain down the field. So that's why I put that on conservative. Wait, sorry. The same things apply here. I read it wrong. So pass key, you want that on that for them to focus on pass. Read key, again, conservative, to keep on the read RPO plays for them to focus on the quarterback. Again, we're trying to hand off to the running back. as much as possible because that's where our defensive help is going to be mostly. I don't mess with anything with strip ball or tackling. Then we come down to and I also leave zone depth, zone drops on default because I run a lot of match, which I'll go over. Um, so yeah, I just leave those on default. Now this is the big thing here though, the safety depth. So what I always come out in normally is close and pinch. The reason I want my safeties down close is it helps with a lot of seam routes and things of that nature. And then pinch keeps them in tight again for those seams. Because think about where most people attack you at in this game. They're going to attack you over the middle in that intermediate area. So you want your safeties as close to that as possible. And so that was a great change for this game where you can already have them come out in that. You don't have to worry about that. Sometimes I do adjust that, especially like if you're playing later in the game or close to halftime. I might turn this back to default, just so that if I go into like prevent or something like that, it doesn't mess with the safety depth there. But yeah, so that we just that's situational. But when you first come out, this is the setup every time. This is what I set it up as. So, I know it was a little long-winded on that. I'm probably going to be a lot long-winded on a lot of things, but anyways. So, and then on the play calling. So the first thing that I do with the 4-2-5 over G, I don't really ever go into the underfronts. The over G, basically, it's just the over G is it's an over front, so it's over to the strong side of the defense, and then the G refers to the defensive tackle alignment, but we're not going to go into that. It's not that important, but anyways, this is kind of a base defense. First thing I do with this package though is that I put it on slot cornerback. So that way, because originally this is a 3 safety look, so you have 3 safeties in the box, and they have different zone audibles that you can go to. I don't use them a whole lot, but I also just like the slot cornerback there. I like that star position better, and so that's what I do first. So next thing that I do in this formation is I put my coverage shell to cover 4. So that this guy, it's always the same look because we're going to run a lot of match. And what's really good with match is you can come out in a lot of different things, and it all looks the same, right? So I'm gonna link. I can't remember the guy's channel. It's Super something. I can't remember his name. He does a really good breakdown of match coverage. Also, if you want to pay a little bit but get a full in-depth thing on match coverage, Zan has a really good thing on his Madden game plans. He has some college. He has it on college. He goes over all the rules of match. Anything you want to know about match, he has that. So there is a free video or a free channel that does a pretty good job. But if you want to go really in depth, I do recommend Zan. He's great when it comes to that. So and he's got a lot of other tidbits if you subscribe throughout the months and everything. So anyways, so usually I come out, my base in this is either cover 4 quarters or cover 3 match, depending. I always look at personnel alignment. So say they come out in, they're going to come out in a 11 personnel, so they'll come out in this a 3 by 1, kind of thing, with the tight end. that's my base, so I'm just gonna come out in that. I'll come out and cover 3 match here, because if it's like a 3-by-1, quarters isn't the greatest against it, depending on what they run. Um, but cover 3 matches is just kind of a good solid base. But I'm coming out in a cover 4 shell, so you see it's disguised. Now what I usually do is I either like slant if it's first down. So first down, we are going to play this with a safe coverage that has decent run stuffing, and passing. So, uh, so what I'll normally do here is I'll shift my D line to because you see the running back here, he is on the left side of the screen here. So that means if they run like an inside zone, where is it going to go? It's going to go towards the right? So I'll even shift. I'll be more aggressive and shift. I may keep them the same just because if they run like something a counter or whatever, I'll call timeout because if you reset it'll take away the shell. But anyways, so let me come back out in this. So sorry, this is a duct tape operation here. Now, so like I said, I'll usually like slant the D line to the side that the running back's gonna run. It's not guaranteed. I mean, this isn't like aggressive run defense, so he could probably get some yards if they ran. But I'm just playing a safe coverage here, and then all that you need to know for cover 3 for most purposes, just for general rule, the hook curls here, the linebackers, they're going to play the running back depending on which side he goes out. So if the running back goes out this way, this linebacker is going to play it. If he goes out this way, this linebacker is going to match him. And then if he doesn't, whichever one doesn't, he will zone off. So you just got to keep that in mind. Basically, that's why I play the hook defender when I'm playing cover 3 match most of the time, because all I have to do is that running back coming out. If not, then I'm a free defender to find work, right? And I just have to match him. And then there's a lot of there's push calls and stuff like that. I'm not gonna get too in depth with that, but just general rule that. So if we were to snap this ball, so I go out and see there was a push call there. So if you see that safety, so I will kind of go for a push call. So push call means that because of leverage, they push the zone to match. So like if you see the safety come down and play that running back, then you know you're good to then peel off and play elsewhere. So like I'll snap it again because it'll probably do it again. Kind of come over and play those underneath stuff. Like I said, they probably would have got it off if he was passing, but just running stock. I'll play here so you can kind of see what it looks like running stock. Say that, but we usually do. 1 second. Again, duct tape operation here, man. But so I would have with this, but see, we don't have a gap in it. That's what really helps with match. It's not perfect defense, it's not going to cover everything, but you're going to have players in the vicinity. You don't have to switch stick for all sorts of stuff. Complete passes, but they're short, rounding pass. Really, first down, that's what I want. So then we'll show if it was like a run. And this, and set it up. Just like slant over, move them over. It's a run. how to go on first down. And I'm going to get into blitzes and stuff like that in another one because ultimately I'm going to start with the philosophy first, then build off of that, right? So, so you got them. You say you have a good first down call, right? Say you did really well on first down. It's second down and medium or long. What I do here, this is my blitz down. So here I'm going to show you two blitzes that I may call. First one is the tried and true mid blitz. Mid blitz is good. You can call stunts out of it. I usually just call it stock, and you know, so because they're gonna probably, if they didn't get a great play on first down, they're gonna probably look to get something on second down. And so I'm coming out aggressive. So I should say come out in a similar formation. So, and then all I do here is I crash down a lot of times, and I'll just use her the safety like normal. But one thing that I do that a lot of people don't, and I mean I know it takes a defender out of the play, but I'll put a hard flat. And I'll also show like the personnel that because I usually don't use this personnel grouping with mid blitz, but because there's not the same, like there's certain personnel that work better. And then what this does is if that running back goes quick to the flats, it's covered. So all that I'm doing is I'm reading that running back again, and I have a little bit of cushion here, and I might even be able to, you know, free rush on the quarterback here. And so see, like that's covered with that flat route. I didn't even have to cover that whenever he was coming in. And the reason that you do a blitz on second down, why it's so important to do it on second down, is that after second down you have third down. So what you're wanting to do is get someone into a third and long. That is the goal. That is because your percentage of getting off the field. I know in the game a lot of people go for it on fourth down and stuff. But even still, even if they're going to go for it on fourth down, if you can get them into a third and long, they're less likely to get a favorable fourth down situation. And then you just kind of rinse and repeat, you know, what you do on that. But talk real quickly, since we did get to the double mug, just a real quick thing. The personnel for this, you want a lot of quick jumps. So like with Joseph's, I would switch him out for Ross because he has platinum. Actually, I wouldn't because I dropped him. Well, doesn't really matter. But I would I'd swap out Bailey for Herring because he has gold quick jump. Then I would usually put Joseph's at where Moy is right here. So you have another, you know, defensive end. This is very speed oriented. So if you also have like linebackers that are, like in my online dynasty, I have some linebackers that have really good acceleration and speed. So I put them there. You just want speed and quick jumps because you want the pressure to come in as quick as possible with that. And then for your like safeties and corners, you want really good man coverage and bump and run. Sometimes, you know, I will, you know, call like a nickel dog blitz 3 or something like that, but that's more of a change up. Most of the time, if I'm in mid blitz, I'm just letting them know I'm coming, try to stop it, you know, kind of thing. Very simple, you know, there. So we talked about blitzing on second down, and the other blitz, just to show you what it is. So we have in nickel 4-2-5 or 4-2-5 over G. I'm sorry. You have the line LB blitz here. So I'll come out in that. And what you do here, this is a looper. This is a loop blitz. So what you want to do here is you want to shift your D line to the away from the running back. You shift your linebackers to the opposite side, so towards the running back. And you can actually do this with your base, so that kind of throws them off, so they don't know you're blitzing or whatever. But so yeah, you just throw it. Oh, do that. Okay. And then you can just zone off this linebacker, and what you'll get here is a looping blitz from this the other linebacker. And what's good to go away from the running back is because if he does block, it can still come in. So I'm just going to snap the ball here and just kind of show that. If he does get picked up, you do get a shed. We'll show that in the replay here. So so you come off, and then so he comes out. See, while he's occupied to try to pick up the looper, then that leaves your defensive lineman in free. Right? So it just puts them into conflict. And it's not like super. It's not as it's not mid blitz level, but it is a good Like I said, you don't. Here's the thing with blitzing. Like I could show you a ton of blitzes. I have some things at a single mug, things that you can do. I honestly keep blitzing very simple. I'll have 2, maybe 3 blitzes that I can go to at any point. I have some other ones. I'm constantly learning the blitzes, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I use them. Like, it would be better just to get good with a few, because you're just trying to generate pressure, right? Just trying to get it, in there. So you don't need a ton of calls. And like I said, if one thing too, if I see like he can't handle mid blitz, I'm just gonna keep feeding him mid blitz, until he proves to me that he can stop it. But yeah, so like, and then just to show this blitz one more time, it does get picked up sometimes, but you still have some decent coverage behind it. It's, no blitz is guaranteed, and every blitz comes with risk. So just keep that in mind. But that is, let's see if it comes through again. So you get a bunch of sheds and everything there. So that's that. I really don't. There's tons of YouTube videos that show you blitzes. Just learn 2 or 3 of them out of whatever defense that you're wanting to run, and go with that. So another thing is, so now we're on 3rd down. So 3rd down, if I have them in 3rd and long, which is the goal, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play coverage, and I'm going to stunt. This is where you're going to call your stunts. And they did a lot of like changes to Texas formats. I don't really know if that'll be the move the whole way, but that's what I call a lot right now. But I'm just trying to test that out. But what I'll call is either 2-man under, or I'll call a Tampa 2 type defense. Sometimes I'll throw in match depending on the area. This is a really good, this cover 3, or the 3 double buzz is really good. It's a cover 3, but it's kind of like a Tampa 2 almost, the way it plays. Just with the deep blues on that. Because you see the middle third is the linebacker, and then you have your safeties actually as the yellows, and then the deep blues. So if you don't know, like Tampa 2 is kind of like an inverted cover 3. So like you have your mid read, which is your linebacker, which is the deep blue, and then your deep blue safeties are kind of like your deep blue corners, and then your corners are kind of like your flats. Whereas on this one, you have the safeties be the hook defenders. It kind of just messes with people sometimes. But anyways, but I'm going to call 2-man under because there's an important tip here that will really make your man coverage a lot better. So I'm going to come out in my Texas 4-man, and then again I'm just coming out in a, I could call random, offense, but anyway, so we've got the Texas 4-man. Some things that you can do is spread your D line. Again, on these, like in this dime package that I call, I probably would put, Jordan Ross, Herring, get my edge rushers, on the field for this. And then the way that you're going to make your man coverage a lot better is you're going to press, and then you're going to shade underneath twice. Now you only want to do this when you have two deep blues, okay? Because it can get burned quite easily. But what this is going to do is it's going to press really hard at the line, and then your defenders are going to play underneath the route very aggressively. I don't know why shading or playing underneath twice makes it better. I don't know what the coding is on that, but it does. And so whenever you see me snap this ball, a lot of times they will get really pressed and really jammed off the line. And you can even you can even user jam. Let me just go into replay on this. I wasn't, paying attention to my guy, but I did get hands on him, kind of push. But if you see this right here, right? See how much better they're playing up on this? Like, you see that? Like, even right here, he jams him, like, and then he's in phase, right? So, I mean, he could maybe throw that, but would you throw that? I don't think I would. My guy was coming open, but again, that's my user, so if I was paying more attention, I mean, I'm still in phase, right? So if this is 3rd and long, he's trying to dump this off, and then let's see here. Let's see what happens here. I mean, he gets, like, this guy is running a post, like a inside release post, and now he's just running up the field before he can, he's completely taking off his route, That's Chris Brasley's I mean, is that open? That's not open. So that's what I mean. Like, it's insane. And I'll even show you, like, okay, I'm just going to press and then shade underneath one time. And you don't get as much of a animation. I'm not saying that you don't. Let's see. And I'm probably going to look stupid here because he's probably going to press him just the same, isn't he? No, but you see, like, he got free. Like, he's not open. He's not open here. But he did not play that near as aggressively, Like, he was playing up on him big time before. Like I said, I don't know what it is with the coding. This one is about the same. But he doesn't, like, they don't play as aggressive. And I don't know what it is. I don't know. But you can put that in your arsenal there. And like I said, if this is 3rd down and long, that's what you have to picture that. Like, where are you going with that, And we can even, like, what do people call a lot of times 4 verts, We'll come back out in this. Let's even say we're going to do 5 we're going to 4 verts. I don't think I called the stunt, but you can call it stunt here. Okay. Press underneath. And now this, you're a linebacker on a receiver. So I'm probably going to play off on him. If he throws it to him, I just got to make a tackle. Just got to rally and tackle. But we're going to, snap it. And you see that? This is a big thing with that pressing. So you know the route that you saw the route the receiver's supposed to run. He's supposed to run up and then do a little shake route inside, right? He gets so pressed off of this that he has to do it here. Well, if it's 3rd and long, hey man, throw that. Throw it. And then we're rallying to tackle, And then look at this. So, and plus, if you're think of it from a user's perspective here. You see this, that's the route you want to go to, right? It's dead, right? Where are you going with this ball? Here? You gonna try to thread the needle here? Because if you underthrow it, we're playing that. If you want to go here, we're playing that, right? User here, we're in phase here. Where are you going? And by the time that you even realize what's going on, you're sacked. So that's why it's important to blitz on 2nd down and get these favorable situations. And then just one thing with the Tampa 2, as I was saying, it's inverted cover 3, which is why its main purpose is 3rd and long. That's why it was pretty much invented, was just to get favorable positioning. And again, you're going to call a stunt with this. If I'm calling this, I may not always call the Texas 4-man. They got the El Paso left. The left Texas 2-man is good. So if you just want to I don't know, that didn't look like it actually called the stunt. Okay, whatever. We're in practice mode. But the real reason I wanted to show this is because there is a way that you can make this match coverage, which is really useful. So the way that you want to do that is you want to turn these hook zones into vertical hooks. So just down with the left stick, so you can just click, and now they're in vertical hooks. And then the outside corners, you want to put them in soft squats, so over on the left stick in support mode. Soft squats. I just want to make sure I put both in soft squats. And then what you'll notice is they match. They match instead of play zone, like a straight zone, which helps with, again, forwards and things like that. So, like, they zone off, right? But then they turn into match. So he follows them at the field. And it really helps here, because where's the weakness of cover 2 normally? Right here, right? Little hole shot. For one, I've got my safety playing down. So that hole shot ain't there, right? Not as much. So this is where all of what I've been teaching you, and again, this has gone long-winded, and you might have turned the video off because I have a boring voice, but if you stayed here, here you go. And then, like I said, if you turn this into match, so normally these guys would just zone off, right? So then there would be all this space here that they might be able to fit something in, right? Because you got your safeties going out to play and everything. So, the middle of the field, you pretty much got a user the whole middle of the field, which, I mean, you might be able to do if you're a really good user. But I'm not. So I might be able to take away 1, but I ain't going to be able to take away 2. And it doesn't mean that they're locked in, they're locked up. This is open, right? But my corner's not like, my defender's not way out here, just covering grass. He's actually close to the receiver. So if that receiver catches the ball, I at least got a chance to make the tackle, right? Same with over here. It's matched. And then, like I said, you don't have the hole shot because these guys are going to be falling up. So it's kind of man-to-man, but where it changes is it's kind of like a cover four palms. So like if this guy, and maybe I can show you here. Put these guys in soft squats. So if this receiver out, okay, this guy, the flat defender, the outside corner, is going to play that. You should play that anyways. I say that, and then EA's going to not do it, and then I'm going to be like, okay, whatever. But anyway, so let me snap this, and then we'll go into replay. And he did. He did play it. He played it late. That's a EAism. But I think it was probably because the safety was further down, so he carried him up further, and then he comes down to play that. So, like I said, it plays like palms. You know, like I said, it's a little delayed, but that is definitely he's playing that, right? He's matching to that, and then if he goes up, so. Anyways, like I said, I'm not the best at describing this. Like I said, Zane has a multitude of videos on match. I don't want to make this a match video because there's so much of it. And like I said, I will link the free information down there because there's a lot, you know, not necessarily Tampa 2 cover match, but everything else, like I said, Zane goes way into detail with it. And then, okay, so we've gotten to the situational stuff. We've gotten through that. Now let's talk about fronts and when to use them, okay? This is really important. So the biggest thing, I talked about over front. I usually do over fronts, under fronts. They have their usage in real football, but honestly, in the game, I mean, if you've got a good blitz or something, a lot of times they're good for blitzing and things like that because you're away from the strong side on the weak side, and so if you call a blitz on the weak side, they got less blockers. You know, kind of do that with what you want. But anyways, most of the time you're gonna call over. But the 3-3 minute is a very good defense that I come out in a lot. And with that, the reason I do that is it's a very good run type defense. And the personnel that you want for this is really important, right? And the game usually does a pretty good job. So these defenders here are playing what we call a 4-eye technique. So they're like shaded to the inside shoulder of the tackle. So they're kind of like a 3-tech, but not a little wider. But it's really good for run lanes. Okay, that's all. And then your guy in the middle is playing a nose, like a 0 position, and then you have your like Leo here. Okay, so what you want in these positions is it's an end position, but you want defensive tackles with like disruptor that are they're athletic, but they're also very strong. You want your very strong D lineman, and then nose tackle. You just want a guy that can clog. So a disruptor guy that's like pushing 330, 340, kind of thing. You want him there, right? And then here, the only thing that I would change is Bailey. I would much rather have like a guy like a Joseph's here, a true like Leo, but like a guy that's got some size and he's good against the run. But because he's also going to be, if they do pass it, you want to have some pass rush, right? So that's usually what I'll do there. And then all that you have to do here, and a lot of times I'll come out. This is when I'll do like drop coverages sometimes. Um, if they're running it a lot, and it's really good against spread inside runs. Okay, so like inside zone and stuff, it's a lot better. And what I'll do here a lot of times is I'll split, if it's like a wide set, I'll split the difference here. That way I got the corner here, and then you're just kind of flowing with your linebackers, filling gaps. So, but as you see here, like you got the backside coming through. I'll show you why this is. So all you would do is crash down with your D line. And then they're just going to clog these gaps here, take up defenders, right? So look at where's this running back going to run, okay? He gets the ball. First off, free rusher right here, right? But let's say you got a slower guy here, and he can be, or say he's out of place somehow. Even still, the running back on the inside zone, he is reading the attacker from the center. He's reading these gaps here, and then he has like backside cuts, that he can make, right? But really, he wants to go through one of the A gaps, or be pushed out to B gap. You have defenders in every position, right? Even if he pushes it out here, you got defenders, right? And that's all you can really ask for in football. Doesn't mean that's going to get you a stop every time or anything, but it's gonna be in your favor, right? So yeah, that's really that. Like I don't really know how to. I'm probably gonna do a video of gameplay to like actually show you what I'm doing. In a game, like how I'm, attacking things and everything, because that'll really set in. But I did want to make this video really breaking it down first. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Goal line, I'll make a separate video on that and everything. But that's the basics. And the big thing I want you guys to take away from this is that it's not so much like the plays that you call. It's good to know like what matches, I could go into full depth of when to call cover 9, when to call cover 6. Quick thing here, if they come out in a bunch set, cover 9, show 2, come out in that, user the safety on the, what you would call the cover 4 side, where it looks like cover 4, you got the, it's a split coverage, got the cover 2 side, got the cover 4 side, user the safety on that side, and you will shut down 99.99% of bunch plays that people call. It's a great coverage. But anyways, and then you got cover 6, and it's got its place and everything. But anyways, the main thing is situational defense. That's what separates good defensive players from bad defensive players, is when to call these plays. Not calling the plays, when to call them, and what you're trying to do to your opponent. What position are you trying to put them in? That's what's important. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed this. Like I said, it's not the greatest presentation of them all, but hey, I hope that you took some things away from this. If you have any questions, just leave them down in the comments below. Check out the videos that I will link for more information, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.